You're doing your best, eating your veggies, grabbing some fruit for breakfast, adding greens to dinner, just like your doctor recommends. But what if I told you that the fresh produce you trust might be carrying something far more dangerous than you think? Take that broccoli you just bought from Walmart. It might be part of a recall for listeria contamination. That's right. Listeria, a bacteria that can cause severe illness, even death in vulnerable people. And this isn't an isolated fluke. It's a symptom of something much deeper, much scarier, something you're going to want to know before your next trip down the produce aisle. Let's start with Walmart, the retail behemoth where you can grab socks, a slow cooker, and a zucchini without breaking stride. But behind the convenience and low prices lies a disturbing reality. Former employees have come forward with stories that will make you rethink every plastic-wrapped, fresh item you've picked up. One ex-produce worker from Texas put it bluntly, "We used to get boxes of lettuce already going bad. We'd peel off the slimy leaves, spray it down, and toss it on the shelf." Why? Because Walmart's obsession with rock-bottom pricing forces suppliers to cut corners, picking produce too early, storing it longer, trucking it across states before it ever sees a store shelf. That bag of spinach you picked up on Sunday, it might have been harvested 10 days earlier, spent 4 days in transit, and then sat in a cooler until someone needed to restock. That's assuming it was kept cold at all. Multiple whistleblowers have posted footage of store back rooms where pallets of cucumbers sat at room temperature overnight because no one had time to unload the trucks. We're not just talking about freshness anymore. We're talking about food safety. A shopper in North Carolina snapped a photo of a Walmart cabbage display crawling with gnats. The store's response? "We are looking into it." Elsewhere, a toddler was caught on camera licking tomatoes in a lower bin. No employees stepped in. And yes, those tomatoes were refilled into the same bin later that day. No cleaning, no reset, just more tomatoes. And don't be fooled by that organic or locally grown sticker either. A 2022 investigation caught several Walmart stores mislabeling imported vegetables from Mexico as local. That's not just deceptive. It's a safety hazard. Imported vegetables might be grown with pesticides banned in the U.S. or washed in untreated water. Now let's slide over to Safeway. The lighting's softer, the display's neater, the price is higher. You might think you're in good hands. But what's happening behind the curtain? Former employees describe a performance they call rotation theater. That's where old, wilted produce is layered on top of new shipments, tricking you into buying yesterday's rejects. One viral Reddit post from a former worker shows a crate of moldy bell peppers being wiped with paper towels and added to the display. The manager's words, "If the customer doesn't touch it, they won't know." Inspections tell the same story. Over the past 5 years, Safeway locations in California, Washington, and Arizona have been flagged for improper refrigeration. That means your pre-cut fruit cup might have spent hours in the danger zone between 40 degrees Fahrenheit and 140 degrees Fahrenheit, where bacteria multiply like crazy. One store even moved perishables into a floral fridge after their cooler broke. And those misters that make the lettuce glisten? One employee said, "There's stuff growing in the pipes. You don't see it, but you smell it when you open the valve." That so-called refreshing mist could be a fungal sneeze you didn't ask for. Customer complaints don't stop at appearances. One shopper in Oregon found a worm inside a pre-washed spinach bag. Another in Colorado bit into a cherry tomato only to have it collapse in her hand, black and rotting on the inside. That tomato? Labeled fresh pick of the day. And when Safeway runs out of organic kale, employees admitted to refilling the bin with conventional kale instead. So you're paying premium prices for a label that's a lie. Even the convenience items aren't safe. Pre-cut veggie trays, bacteria breeding grounds. Once the produce is chopped, those fresh cut edges are a freeway for microbes. And the plastic wrap, it traps moisture, bacteria's best friend. One deli worker put it this way: "If you wouldn't eat a wet carrot after it sat on your counter for 12 hours, you shouldn't be eating these." Walmart and Safeway share a common strategy. Keep it full, keep it pretty, keep it moving. But what's missing? The handling, the care, the food safety you assume is happening. Think you'll just wash it? That helps, sometimes, but it won't undo contamination from days of poor storage or handling. And here's the kicker: these stores count on you not noticing. They know most shoppers don't inspect celery under a lamp or peel every leaf off a romaine. But once you do start looking, you'll see the wilted ends, the soft spots, the mystery moisture. You'll start asking questions. Why does this asparagus smell like gym socks? Why is this bag of salad already slimy? And I bought it yesterday. If that's making you side-eye your fridge right now, buckle up, because next, we're heading to Kroger. On paper, Kroger's the second largest grocery chain in the U.S., but big doesn't always mean better. Behind their colorful produce displays, the story turns sour. One former clerk revealed, "We were supposed to rotate everything, but we were short-staffed." Almost always. So old stuff just stayed out. Other employees confirmed. Produce shipments often arrive half-rotted. Bananas, strawberries, tomatoes, soft, bruised, and leaking. The fix? Lemon juice and cold water, not to sanitize, just to make them look fresh again. They call it the miracle spray. And the pre-cut section? You might as well call it a bacterial theme park. Bagged lettuce, diced onions, celery sticks, assembled early, left out for hours, sometimes forgotten entirely. One insider said veggie trays often sat in the back room half a shift before hitting the fridge. Kroger's also been busted for misleading signs. The 2021 audit caught multiple stores labeling imported produce as local, that fresh, local zucchini straight from Guatemala. Then there are the pests. One shopper in Cincinnati filmed flies crawling over mushrooms. Kroger promised improved sanitation. Just 2 weeks later, another video from a different store showed the same thing. In Georgia, a store had to shut down temporarily after a customer, not the staff, found rodent droppings behind a cooler. And those value bins of mixed vegetables? A bargain, right? Not exactly. Workers say those bins are filled with the bruised, damaged leftovers no longer fit for the main shelf. As one employee put it, "If you see a value bin, just know someone had to dig through the trash to make it." Now to Food Lion, especially popular in the Southeast. Their slogan? Easy, fresh, affordable. 2 out of 3 maybe. Fresh? Not always. Their smaller produce section makes it harder to hide the aging stuff. One customer in Virginia posted a photo of celery so dry it had turned brown at the base, still labeled Manager's Special. A worker confirmed if we could sell it before mold appeared, it went on the floor. Bulk deliveries, just once or twice a week, mean veggies like bell peppers or kale can sit for days. One North Carolina whistleblower said the backroom cooler was so overcrowded, crates were stacked in the hallway. No refrigeration. A 2019 state inspection in South Carolina found pre-cut fruit being held at 55 degrees Fahrenheit, 15 degrees too warm. Salad mix packages were leaking onto other items. The fix? Wipe them off and put them back. Even worse, employees say they're told to repurpose expired produce. Old tomatoes? Chopped into pico. Wilted spinach? Trim the slime and call it sauté blend. A deli cook admitted, "If it can be chopped, we use it." Customers have found gray, slimy carrots, live bugs in coleslaw, and the displays themselves, made from rough wood, porous plastic, rarely sanitized. One employee said, "We clean them once a week maybe. Usually, we just sweep out the old lettuce." You starting to see the pattern? Whether it's Kroger or Food Lion, this isn't food pride, it's food theater, a glossy illusion. But once you peek behind the curtain, you can't unsee it. Which brings us to Giant. Big name, big promise, but that scale doesn't always mean standards. Former employees say produce towers were built to look full, new on top, old on bottom. The tomato you grab might have been sitting there since Monday. One shopper in Pennsylvania found a veggie tray with condensation trapped inside. The customer said, "Looks like it's sweating out its regrets." Another bought spinach that turned black in 2 days. The package date rubbed just enough to be unreadable. Giant's had its pest problems too. A 2022 fruit fly infestation in Maryland led to the disposal of hundreds of pounds of produce, but not before customers kept shopping from the tainted bins for hours. One saw gnats over the organic apples. Another noticed webs between cilantro stems. And training? One employee said the average Giant produce worker gets less than 2 hours of food safety training before being left alone to run the entire department. And finally, Family Dollar. You might not expect fresh veggies there, but some stores stock them. And in 2023, a rodent infestation at their central warehouse led to the closure of over 400 stores. The FDA found live and dead rodents, feces, urine, in areas where food was stored. Goods were pulled, but quietly. Customers reported buying canned goods weeks later, despite being part of the recall zone. Others found expired onions and garlic, months past their best buy. Most Family Dollar locations don't have real refrigeration. If the AC goes out, we keep selling stuff unless it smells, one employee confessed. Some stores get produce once a week, if that. If it doesn't arrive, they reuse old stock. Moldy peppers wiped down. Shriveled onions dusted and replaced. One customer even found a sticker labeled January in late March. When asked, the cashier shrugged. Still good, just dry. And the store conditions? In lower income areas especially, Family Dollar locations suffer from chronic neglect, dirty floors, broken coolers, leaky ceilings, and in the middle of that, a produce bin. So what can you do? Here's the raw truth. Brand names and bright displays don't guarantee safety anymore. Not in this economy, not with these habits. You have to train your eyes, snap those stems, smell those leaves, look for plastic sweat, soft spots, or weird smells. If a carrot bends instead of snapping, leave it. If your pre-cut salad reeks, trust your nose. You hold more power than you think. Every time you skip a moldy bin, say no to a soggy value tray, or refuse bruised produce, you send a message. That message travels from the shelf to the manager to the supplier. Because this isn't just about price. It's about trust. And once that trust is broken, a cheap deal isn't worth the regret. So look closer, ask questions, and don't let a shiny label lie to you again. You deserve to know what you're really bringing home. Hit like, subscribe, and help someone else see behind the shine. Because the truth, it's not always on the menu.